Hello everyone, this is Crystal Potthoff from Prayerful Arts, and today I had a viewer ask if I could show how to do this egg here. This is a photograph and it's from a video where I actually demonstrated a different egg, but they had asked if I would do this particular egg here. So in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the pattern for the egg I'm holding in my hands. It's a 12 diamond pattern and a lot of fun. So let's get going.
So let's get started here. I'm going to start by drawing out a very simple 12 diamond division, and then we'll talk about each of the 6 elements that can go in it. The 12 diamonds are it's a fun pattern. I think it's a relatively easy pattern to draw once you get it understood, and very versatile. Lots of different things that you can do. This is, and you can really make it holiday. Like you can put deer and Christmas trees and snowflakes, because there's 12 diamonds. I've seen people do a symbol for each of the 12 days of Christmas. That's kind of another fun idea. I've never done it. I don't what I do for some of like the people one. Anyway, but there's different ideas you can do with the 12 diamond. So we've got the egg divided into 8 sections, and now we will, okay, it's 3 plus 2, so mark it half. Just eyeball it. So I'm marking where it is halfway, and then here I will mark this. So this I'm going to mark at the 3, or I'm going to mark it 3 centimeters from the equator on each of the lines. Not 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters in width, 1.5 from each line. Whatever works best for your egg and how you like to measure. I just tend to measure more with the centimeter side, because for me it's easier to divide. Right? And now we'll draw these. Each one of our diamonds. And as we draw each one of these 4 diamonds around the equator line, it magically makes the other 12 diamonds, or the other diamonds. So we end up with 12 in total. All right, there we go. All right, so we have that. So again, what I did was I alternated the pattern. So I did a cross and wheat up in the, what I'm going to call the top. I did an 8-pointed star, and then another version of a star across here, and then down here at the bottom I did a flower and a bird. So I'm going to start with the center one, and because it has this going through it, it makes it a lot easier to draw this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw the 8-pointed star. So I'm just going to go through there like that, and then I make the letter M. That was how it was taught to me. You make the letter M, and make the letter M. And one more. And there we have the 8-pointed star. Now, in the other one, I did another form of an 8-pointed star. And so here, in this area, I am going to draw. I'm kind of dividing it into thirds, and making like a hashtag tic-tac-toe #, whatever you want to call it. And you'll notice that where each of them crossed was kind of on that line. That does help keep your design even. So now that I've drawn that, I'm just going to come back and draw in those points. So obviously not all the lines on here that I am drawing will have wax on them, because in here, the lines that go like that, they're not going to have wax on them. I do have to remember that. All right, then I'll do another 2 of those. Now, I'm going to draw the cross that went up here. And I started with a circle, kind of in the middle, but because this diamond is more long than it is wide, it raised it up just a little bit. Start with a circle, right like that. So it's not exactly like that. Then what I did was I drew lines that just went this. It almost looks a little like a flower. But then I just, how did I do that? You can either draw, look, I think I drew mine. They were kind of like that. Is that how? Oh, I did that backwards. Okay, well, this is why watercolor pencils are nice. I think that didn't look right. That's what I get for saying it looked like a flower. Okay, we'll just wipe that off. Let's start that over again. Okay. Draw that. Now I draw these. I knew it didn't go great. I mean, I'm just going to draw it now. Now you draw this that goes like that. Now it's a cross. Oh my goodness. I'm doing this taping early in the morning. I guess I'm just not fully awake. There we go. So I drew the lines. They just kind of go out a little bit in there. Okay, now I have a cross. Okay, now the wheat. What I do when I draw the wheat, I draw the top part of the wheat first. So that is a shape like that, and a shape like that, and one like that. And they're kind of all different angles. And then it's just going to have the lines coming down. And I'll fill it in later with stuff. So that's what goes there. All right. Now we're going to have a flower, which was real easy. And you can draw a circle for the center. Let me do a circle up there. So I'm going to draw a little thing that looks like that for the center. And you don't have to, you can just draw a circle. And then we're just going to draw petals coming out from it. And what I do when I draw this kind of a petal, Now, these petals aren't touching the center. If you want yours to touch, they can. So when I draw these, I'll draw the 4, and then I'll draw one in between them, all of them. And I'm making them as big as the space. So they're not all the same because, again, this one is longer, that is wider. And then I can come back if I want and add in some smaller ones to just fill it all in. Just like that. Okay. And you don't have to do this. If you want to, you can. You have a flower. Now, last thing that I had on it was a bird. And I'm actually going to draw that on paper first, and then I'll draw it on the egg. So a bird, let's see, let me find a blank sheet in here. Okay, I think this will, okay, just ignore this. This was a different video. If you're not sure, practice your birds on paper. These are very simple birds. They're not real birds. I've never seen a bird like this and flying around because the way I draw it, it probably couldn't fly. But I figure out where I want the tip of the beak. And so, like, I want it there. But you know what? Let's draw a triangle or a diamond. Let's draw a diamond on here first. And I mean, you can draw the bird in any kind of shape, but since that's the shape that I'm going to be drawing it in, so it's going to be, it's not very even diamond. It's going to be the beak is going to be up a little bit higher than the center of it, so it's going to be there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a swoopy line that just goes up, and then it's going to come down, and it's going to come down lower than the beak, lower than the beak, and go up. So it's kind of a sideways S. It has a little bit of a point on it. Now here, I'm going to come in just a little bit, so I have a beak, and then I'm going to come down. I kind of come all the way down, and then up. And there you have it. So this is also a really lopsided S. And then you can put things on it. This is what I'll draw, but then you can come back and you can add feathers that go like this. And, depends on how much space I've left. I probably should have moved this over just a little bit. If you want it to have a wing inside, you can. If you want it to have an eye, you can draw that. Whatever you want to put on your bird. If you want to have feet, can. That's how I draw a bird. So let's draw the bird in here. And now, because this square is, the longer half is down here. So this one, I might, like I said, I didn't put it in the center. Maybe I'll put it right about there. And then I'll draw the swoopy line up. That one's got a really big beak. And then I will come back up like that. And then I'll go down and up. And now that I've drawn this, I will probably Probably won't make the head that big. I'll make it a little smaller when I wax it, which is a nice, for me, a lot of times when I draw the lines, particularly on something like this, I look at it and say, well, I don't know about that. But when I go, the pencil lines don't matter. What matters is where I put that wax. Let's see if I can draw a little bit better one here. So I will start a little bit above, like I suggested. And I'll just draw this. Oh, I messed up where the beak's sweet there. Oh, that's a better beak. And here. And it needs to come out a little bit more. Looks like he might tip over. Okay, that's a better looking bird. All right, so let's get started on doing some wax. We are ready to start waxing. And so the first thing I'm going to wax are the diamonds. And I'm using my Lubas Electric with the medium tip. Or no, I'm sorry, this is the fine tip. I might have to switch to the medium. I should have cleaned it out. This is my little barbed dental brooch. All right. We will now try the cleaning layer and see if that makes a difference. I think it has an air bubble, to be honest. Okay, we can't see it on the paper. Part of the reason I know I have trouble seeing it on the egg is because I've got these really thick blue lines on here. So if you've drawn your lines lighter than what I have drawn on mine, you probably see it easier. And I don't have the egg that was requested. It has been sold, but so I could only look at it in the video and try and make sure I was using the same pattern. And so I think this is pretty similar. And of course, you can always adapt it to whatever you want it to be. But I was also trying to look at it and say, what color did I use here and what color did I use there? I thought I did all the lines while the egg was white, but sometimes when I was looking at the video, it looked like maybe the eggs were, or the initial lines were very, very pale blue. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so we have the 4 diamonds drawn around the equator line, and now all we have to do here is just draw 4 lines up. And now we have another 4 diamonds on the top, And this is because they share lines. And now we'll do the same thing on the bottom, and we will have our 12 diamonds waxed onto the egg. And then we will start waxing some of the elements. So we'll start with this one, and let me check the video and see how, or the picture. Okay, so I did wax this. It looks like I did. And this one, I do remember I tried to keep the color scheme simple. So it didn't have a whole bunch of different colors in it. We had a few, but it didn't have a whole bunch. And not every element had all the colors in it. Some of them only had, well, and we're going to talk about it here in a minute, some of them did not even have any white in them. And I like that idea. I'm going to repeat it somewhat. You know, because I tend to wax away from me when I draw away from me with the Kiska. I don't always do that with the pencil. But there we have that element done. Now we'll do this one, another version of an 8-pointed star. So I'm going to start with waxing that line and that line. And then I'll wax this line. And this line. And then I'm going to do these. And now in the center here, I am going to put 2 little additional lines like that. And 2 more going this way. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. That's all we wax there. Let's do the cross. The cross was pretty easy once I drew it properly. So it's going to start with a circle. And then it's going to have lines that come out. And they kind of bow out a little bit. And then they do, like here, they touch. And then we put the top on it, or the ends of the cross on it. And this one also has a little bit of a curve to it. Now I am not going to wax anything where the wheat is, because that will be all the other colors. So it'll be the gold color and the 2 blues. So it won't, it doesn't have any white wax on it. I drew it out. I don't know if I'll be able to see it once I put it in the yellow, but that's okay. And now for the flower here, I am going to draw the center of it, but the flower petals themselves are all going to be yellow. So let's see. Just going to draw this as a swirl. So that's all I'm going to wax there. And then obviously I have to do all these elements again. But the last one being the bird. And I need to check my reference photo again. And so I did outline the bird. And I drew my bird facing this way. You could also have drawn it with the beak over on this side and facing the way. That was just the way I drew it. In the video, I think the beak was on this side, but I already drew it this way. And so I'm going to start kind of the same way I drew it there. And for this one, we're just going to outline the bird. So if I think I want to do something a little different than my pencil lines, that's okay. So we draw that part, and now we're going to draw the beak, the rest of the beak, and finish it off like this. And then here I'm going to make a little swirl like that first for the tail feathers. And then I'm going to just put a few little things here like this because they look fun. That's all I'm going to do with the white part of the eggshell. Now, obviously I need to repeat the elements, and then I will be dyeing this yellow. And if the yellow isn't deep enough, then I will put it in the gold. And those are both Ukrainian gift shop colors. I was thinking if I wanted to do a different color sequence, but I'm going to do the same color sequence that was in the video. But I'll talk about some other color choices you might want to try. All right, finish waxing and get it dyed yellow and then gold. So we have this beautiful yellowy gold color, very deep. And I'm going to start with my Lubas Electric with the medium tip. And let's hope, you know what? Before I put the wax in it, let's see if there's any gunk in it. Okay. Not seeing any, so let's all keep our fingers crossed that it will write beautifully. Okay, we are going to start with our 8-pointed star. And what I'm going to do is I am going to completely fill in this area here. Right there and right there. And so I'm doing it around one of the points of the star. And then I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to do the same thing over here on this one. Okay. And then I will skip this one. I'll put some here. I'm just going to put little dots. Maybe. Oh, it writes, but it won't leave a dot. All right. Well, there and here and here and here. Oh, now. Okay, there we go. There and there. There and no, not there. Okay. All right. Here and here. Okay. This is what I get. This is my own fault. All right. I need to take that off of there. So what I'm going to use is my X-Acto knife. I did not want the dot here. I'll scrape it off with my X-Acto knife. And I'll put a little bit of the Goo Gone on a Q-tip and I'll go over that, but I'll do that later. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to switch to the fine Kiska and see if that behaves better. So in this element, I'm only putting in a little thing that looks like that. So with this pattern, there were a lot of like repeating elements, but in, oh, okay, I really didn't need my hair on that. Here we go. Okay. So we have those. That's all we're going to do there. That's all I do on that one. Now on the cross, there is some yellow and it is right here, and it kind of comes straight out. And I do this. Straight out. Easy. Okay, now let's do the wheat. So the wheat didn't have any white color in it. So the first thing I'm going to do, excuse me, is draw. I'm going to draw the grain part. So I draw an oval shape, and then I'm going to draw. Excuse me, just 1 second. Okay, much better. I'm going to draw the little hairy things. And then I'm going to draw some lines inside of it that just kind of crisscross. If you don't want to do this, you could do maybe 3 dots. In my opinion, it needs something yellow in there to give the indication of the grains of wheat. And now it's going to look odd, but I'm not going to put any stems on them. The stems are going to be in the light blue and the medium blue. So they look like they're kind of just floating out there, but we will get to that part with the next color. Okay, so you just have 3 of those. Okay, we've done that, we've done that. Okay, now I will outline these and I'll fill it in later. But I'm going to start with how I drew it. So I'm going to draw 4. And all of these are going to be completely filled in with wax. The whole flower is going to be yellow. Or the flower petals. So since all the flower petals are going to be yellow or gold, it's important that they don't actually touch each other, because then it looks like a big blob. So I drew those 4, and now I'm going to draw these 4. At least I'm going to try not to have them touched. That's what I want. Now you could outline them in one color and fill them in with another, but I'm not. So now I'm going to put these here, and I will come back later and then just, completely fill in that area. But for right now, I'm just putting them where I want them. And making sure I put them in all the places where I want them. Oh, here's my wax. One last one right there. Okay. All right. Now, the only other element we have left is the bird. And the bird had some yellow, he had a yellow belly. So I'm just going to mark an area that kind of goes like that. You can do it however you want, and then I'm going to completely fill that in. And I'll go back and do that later. And I'm going to put some feet on my bird with the yellow. So I'm going to have a line down, 2 lines down, and then just some little lines off. This poor little bird probably really can't walk or fly too well. Now, I need to go back and finish doing the yellow, but that's the major portions of it. After I get all the yellow on it, I am going to wash it off using just Dawn dish soap, and I have plugged the egg. And then I will let it dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to put it in the very light blue. But if I put it in the very light blue while it's gold, I'm going to get green. And if I wanted green, that would be lovely, but I don't. I want very light blue. So in this case, I have to wash the egg off. So when I come back, we'll have a light blue, very light blue egg. So I washed the egg, but apparently I did not get all of the yellow off of it, because when I put it in the light blue, I have more of a minty green color. And I just wanted to show that to you, to show you that this is what can happen if you don't wash the egg off all the way. Now, I have a couple of choices. I could wash it off all the way, or I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to embrace this color and use it instead. So I had intended to use the regular light blue for my next color, but I think for my next color instead, I'm going to use teal, and that is also a Ukrainian gift shop color. So it's not that this is a bad color. It wasn't really the color I was expecting, but it will work for us. So where do we wax this color? All right, so we want to wax. This is my Lubas Electric with the medium tip. So in the 8-pointed star, I want to wax the diamond that does not have the gold around it. So I'm going to wax in all of that one, all of this one here, and this one here. Now in this one, all I'm going to do is see if there's gunk in there. I don't think there is. Okay, all I'm going to wax here is this little area right here. Right, like that. Okay, right like that. All right, and so that's all I'm going to do in those two. In the cross, I'm going to put a little dot in the center of that circle. And then I'm just going to draw some lines that come straight out like this. That's all I'm going to do there. Now where I have the wheat, I'm going to draw the stems of the wheat. So they're just straight lines. Going all the way up. And I'm just going to have them all be like one center point in the bottom. Now on our flower, I'm not going to do anything on the flower. On the bird, I'm going to give the bird an eye. Maybe. Oh, come on. Just wanted a little circle for an eye. I'm not getting real, real detailed with it. There. Now our bird needs to be able to see. And now I'm just going to put some feathers in here. So they just are like 3 little lines like this. That's all I'm going to put in. Right. I need to do that on the other elements that are the same. And then I will be putting it in the teal. So this is a really pretty color. This is the teal. It's a Ukrainian gift shop color that was over my very light blue that looked a little on the minty green side. So let's get started on what we wax now. And we'll start with our 8-pointed star. Oops. Some more wax in there. Let's see who will behave and who will not. So the 8-pointed star, we're going to put wax in the other star points. So where it was yellow, I'm going to fill that with wax. Right like that. All those. Okay, I'm filling all those. And this one, we are going to fill in all the star points, or all these little triangles here. They're not little, they're kind of on the big side, relatively speaking. So all of these are going to get waxed. Right like that. Yeah, every one of them. Okay, and now on the cross. On the cross, I am going to completely wax in all of this area. I don't think I'm going to wax the center circle. I think I'll leave that for the final color. So we'll wax all of those. Now for our wheat, we're going to completely fill in this area. It's okay to go over the top of the wax that's already there. If you waxed it when it was gold, it's going to stay gold. We're just filling it in. Now we're just going to add some more like grassy, stalk, stemmy type things. So that's all I'm going to do there. Okay, so we've done that. We've done that. Now, okay, down here, I am going to just add a little extra color there. That's all I did. Just so there's a little bit of blue in there also. All right. And now with the bird, I'm just going to completely wax in the rest of the bird. And again, it's okay to go over the top of the wax that's there. It's that we did when it was the lighter color is going to stay the lighter color. You can even kind of see it. It won't change color. It'll stay that same color because that's what color it was when I put the wax on. All right, now in the previous one, I had used the royal blue for the final color, but I think what I'm going to do on this one, because I've gone with the teal, is I'm going to use black for the final color. So when I come back, we will be ready to take off the wax. And here we have all the colors are on the egg. The black is kind of a bluish black, which looks really nice against the other colors on there. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Got our 8-pointed star, the other star, we got a cross, we got wheat, we got birdies, and we got beautiful flowers all on one egg with the 12 diamond pattern. That's very hot. Okay. Thank you for the suggestion from the viewer, and I appreciate it. And stay tuned, and you'll see me in the next video.